Hey guys, welcome to my 12 crafts for Christmas. This is episode 1. If you're interested in learning how to make your own DIY cork Christmas wreath, it's so much fun. Keep on watching, we're gonna have a blast. Oh, by the way, this is my first DIY I've ever done, so please excuse the quality. I get better as I go along. We're gonna have lots of fun, make some really super cheap, super easy Christmas crafts for this season. It's gonna be awesome. Okay guys, so here's everything that you're going to need to make this wreath. You're going to need glue of some sort, whether that be hot glue or super glue, a wreath, lots and lots of corks, and then some leaves and holly to make this Italian rustic Christmas wreath. Okay, so the first step, if you didn't buy a styrofoam wreath like I did, you don't have to do this, but in order to hide that styrofoam, I decided to put like a little bit of twine wood sort of paper on top, and I just attached this with some string that I had lying around the house. Now just quickly, everything that I bought except for the corks I sourced from my local craft store, which is Spotlight, but you can also choose to purchase your items online or at your local craft store. Okay, now for the main part is attaching all the corks. Now you just attach it with the glue that you chose. I chose to use hot glue, which just a disclaimer, isn't the best to use if you do have a styrofoam wreath. It doesn't quite attach itself quite well. Now the corks that I have here I sourced from the restaurant that I work at here, so you can have a look at your local restaurant, see if they have some corks lying around. If not, you can always purchase them online. The corks that I have here were definitely not enough for a wreath of this size. You can either choose to make a smaller one if you don't have enough corks, or make sure that you have lots and lots and lots of corks. I'm very sorry, I don't know how many I used in the end, but it was a lot. I chose to start putting my corks from the bottom up. This way I made sure that the bottom, when my wreath was hanging, would be nice and flat and flush against the door or wall. Now I've got a little bit of a closer angle for you here. I found this worked a lot better so you could actually see what I was doing. You are going to have some gaps like this one. To fix that, I've chosen a champagne cork to fix this gap. This is because I couldn't use the champagne corks on my wreath itself. So rather than chopping out one of my good corks, I chose this old one. You just cut it to the size that you want with a kitchen knife, dinner knife, like whatever you've got around, and attach it with glue. This actually didn't fit, so I had to go back and cut it a little bit more so that way it fit nice and snug. Okay, next is putting the corks on the inside. So this is the corks that I used for the inside circle of the wreath. These are actually champagne corks. They're very easy to cut. So I cut them at an angle so that way the rounded top of the other ones would fit nice against it, so that way it created a really tight circle on the inside. This just made it look really nice and neat. Again, this is optional. You can put as many rows as you want on your wine cork wreath. So if you had a regular wreath, you could also stop and not go this far in, but because I had the styrofoam, I wanted to cover as much of that up as possible. Next step is, with all the leftover corks that I had, I placed them at random on top to make it look not so polished and a little bit more rustic. Again, this is totally optional depending on how many corks you have left, if you can do this step or not. Next we're going to move on and attach the leaves. So I just bought this garland and these little holly sprigs just there from my local spotlight store. All I did with the garland is I pulled all the leaves off. You can chop them off depending on what kind of garland that you bought, or if you're really prepared, buy the leaves separately if you can, and you just pull off as many as you need. I needed a lot more than that. That was just purely to show you what I'd done. Now you just attach them into the cork gaps with some hot glue. Now I placed mine pretty much just to cover the corks I didn't like. On the wreath I had a few plastic corks that weren't quite nice, so I made sure the leaves that I put on covered those. Now you can put on as many or as little leaves as you like, or if you want to choose something different to decorate your wine cork wreath with, that's perfectly fine as well. You could use some tinsel, string, flowers, whatever you like. Because this wreath wasn't for myself, I was giving it to my bosses at the Italian restaurant. I wanted to create something that was really nice and rustic and Italian, so that's why I used the corks in combination with the vine garland and the holly. Now I'm really sorry, but I don't know what happened when I filmed this. Attaching the holly, I think my camera cut out because I've only got this quick little scene, but all I did was placed it where I wanted, and then I attached it with a lot of hot glue, so much hot glue, so that way it wouldn't fall out because these holly sprigs are quite heavy. Here's the finished product. I put a green and red ribbon on it to make it a little bit more festive. If it's not for Christmas, then you can leave that off and it just looks like a really nice rustic wine cork wreath. Very easy craft to make. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in for my 12 crafts of Christmas. If you're interested in seeing more DIYs you can do for this festive season, please click the subscribe button, give me a like, so that way I know if you're enjoying it. It's going to be so much fun, and I'll see you in the next one.